Hello, everyone. We're excited to present our third episode of CGTF Professional Profiles with Paul Kelly, Master Teaching Professional, longtime General Manager of Golf, longtime CGTF member. And we're going to learn a little bit about Paul today, and it's going to be a fun 15 to 20 minutes. Hey, Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Excellent.
So where exactly are you right now?
I am at home in Logy Bay, Newfoundland.
All right. And that's where you spent the bulk of your time?
That's where I spent all my time in my career.
How did you get started in the golf industry?
So I started playing when I was about 25 years old. I was living in Calgary, actually, and a friend of mine was playing golf a little bit, and he took us out one day to play golf. And, we went out and slashed and whacked the ball everywhere we could possibly imagine. And I never really took to it at all. And I moved home about a year after that to Newfoundland. And I started playing then, and I just got the bug instantly and couldn't get enough of it, and played as much as I could. Progressed fairly quickly. Had a good aptitude for it. From there, what happened was I started doing club repair. I went and got interested in building clubs and repairing. Went down the States, down to Malpe, and took a couple of courses on club repair. Came back and started offering that out of my house. From there, what happened was a couple of local driving ranges asked me if I knew anything about teaching golf, and I said no, but I was willing to give it a go. I came in and helped them out with a couple of programs and took on a couple of clients. From there, I decided that I liked doing this and needed to get some certification or help. Attended the certification in Lehigh back in '93. Kind of just progressed, and I ended up taking jobs in the industry and moving up. And finally, I retired this past year from a long career of running golf courses and teaching. And now I'm doing some stuff on my own.
That's fantastic. I got a little surprise for you. Do you recognize this?
I do. I've got that book on my counter here.
Long before I was involved with the administration of the CGTF, I kept all my magazines. In the winter edition of the Golf Teaching Pro from 2002, there's quite a little article in here on you, and I found that just was it was great to see this.
That's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, but so you have a lot to share with us. If they were doing profiles on you in 2002, it's now almost 20 years later, and you had almost 10 years of experience going then. So I look forward to the session with you. And it was kind of neat that, I still had my magazine and numerous other ones. It also, just off topic, they had a profile in here on the CGTF Cup. And the winner in the 2001 CGTF Cup was a guy named Dave Klowak, who I actually got certified with. And he was a phenomenal player out of Winnipeg. Anyways, so your journey, it's pretty exciting. You started as a club builder.
Still am very, very involved in it. I still do a lot of club building, a lot of repairing. Yeah, it kind of just, it snowballed and took over from there. So it's been about 35 years of doing that part of it now.
That's neat. So then you progressed, you did a lot of teaching at the beginning and then moved kind of into the administration. In that progression, were you always searching for new education, or did you kind of use what you learned by teaching? Or
No, I was always searching for new ways to do things. And a lot of this came from my wife, actually. My wife was working with Transport Canada at the air traffic school in Gander, where they take controllers and turn them into instructors. So she was doing a lot of train the trainer, adult ed type of stuff, and I really found it interesting. I used a lot of that as gateways to how I was going to do things. One of the things I did was I got enrolled in the old National Coaching Certification Program, which goes back decades, and I went through levels 1, 2, and 3 there at fairly high levels, learning how to coach, how to do different things. One of the biggest benefits that I had at the time was I ended up partnering with one of the guys who wrote the National Coaching Certification Program. He was a coach of the national rugby team, and he was one of the facilitators in one of the programs that I did. So he was interested in learning golf, so we kind of switched and partnered, and he taught me a little bit of how to coach and different things on what to look for. And I taught him golf skills, and it kind of blossomed from there. After that, I did a diploma in adult education from St. FX and really focused on skills assessment, focusing on learning styles, how to deliver content, how to identify things and shape programming based on different styles of people who want to learn different ways. I just kept going from there. Every time I thought I could find something that would help me, I took it. I became a certified weight trainer, became a certified fitness consultant with the province. I wanted to know how body worked and stuff. So it's just constantly finding new things. I became certified with Alloway, Cobra, TaylorMade, Titleist, Mizuno, Tour Edge, Odyssey, Scotty Cameron as a fitting agent, which I still am current on all those and upgrade every year. And I thought if I knew everything about equipment, how the body works, how to teach, I could be a better teacher.
Wow, that's pretty fantastic. I'm kind of a club junkie. Do you have a favorite set of golf clubs or a favorite golf club?
I've been a Callaway guy for a long time. They have been exceptionally good to me over the years. I really like their product. I've got a couple of clubs that are in my bag for years and years and years and years. One of them is an old Tommy Armour putter, probably almost 20 years old now, that I just can't knock out of the bag. It just is, it's the one that I can't get rid of. Besides that, most things change fairly frequently, as they go on through the year. I've got a couple of favorites by far.
That's cool. You never want to play against a guy who has got an old putter in his bag because you know that thing's pretty reliable. So
yeah, I test everything. Like I say, I'm an Odyssey fitter, so I've got the Odyssey fit system, the digital launch monitor for putting, and I test everything that comes out, and I just can't knock my own putter out of the bag. I dabble with other ones, but it comes back to it all the time.
you spent a lot of time as an administrator in
I did.
the golf industry. Would nothing surprise you that happens at a golf course after you've been around the block a few times? Things that happen at a golf course, if you get that call, whether you're in the kitchen or in your office or on the third hole or on the tractor, talking to the superintendent, is that true?
It is true. There are no surprises with anything. I mean, we've had everything happen. I've had calls come to me that there was a family having a picnic on a fairway. They just came, parked in the parking lot, saw the green open spaces, went out and set up a picnic in the middle of the golf course. There's no surprises on anything, really.
All jokes aside, we're pretty lucky to have spent years, I'm sure you're the same, where you go really, really hard during the golf season and preseason too. People don't really, they think as soon as the door closes and the door opens, you don't do anything in between. Sometimes the off seasons when you have no staff and it gets even harder, but you do go hard. And like we talked about earlier, getting 2 weeks off in a row is almost impossible.
Yeah, I've never had it off ever in my life, really. It's in the winter time over my career, I've just gone to a regular kind of 40-hour week. In the summer times, the last 20 odd years or so, we're running probably about on an average 85 to 90 hours a week, sun up to sundown, 7 days a week. It's just, that's the nature of the beast. It's like fishing or farming. You're all in or you're all out.
Yeah. What's amazing is you've come out the other side of it and you look really young. So,
Some days it doesn't feel that way.
And now you're come full circle back into how you started the game. What's your plans for this season?
To play some golf, which is something I haven't done in probably close to 15 years. I've played maybe 8, 9, 10 rounds of golf a year for the past 15 years. As I got busier and busier this year, I might even buy a membership somewhere, which is, I haven't done since I was, I don't know, 30 years ago. I'm also teaching a little bit, freewheeling a little bit, going from different place to different place. One of my main interests this year, and I'm excited about, is just to get in my car and go across the province and do some clinics at some different golf courses that have been after me over the years to do this. So kind of make a working vacation and drive across and work my way back again.
Wow, that sounds so awesome to get on the road and see some different golf courses, meet people that want to learn. That's probably the best part about teaching, meeting up with people and being able to help them relatively quickly and identify things, and making those changes.
Yeah, it certainly is. I've always focused my teaching on trying to find the easiest way to do something, because the initial couple of minutes of a lesson is going to set the tone. If we can make some kind of change immediately that lets them have some success, they're more likely to buy into it and stay with that and get excited about it. One of the things that I've had a lot of success with, which is what I learned through the adult education program that I did through St. FX and through different coaching modules, is really focusing on identifying how the student likes to learn. Because a fault that a lot of instructors, and that I would have had myself when I started, is you tend to teach the way that you like to learn yourself. So I'm a hands-on guy. If I buy a new computer or a toy or something, I open the box and I just start putting it all together, and I default to the manual at the very, very last resort when it doesn't work. If I'm teaching with someone who needs to read that manual from start to finish before they even open the box, and I teach them my way, they've already tuned out. And vice versa. If they were teaching me that way, I'm bored and I'm going, come on, come on, come on. All right, let's move it on, move it on. I want to hit balls. I want to hit balls. So one of the things that I've always done, I asked every single student that I've ever had 2 questions. How do you like to learn? And I give them an example of, do you have a new computer? If you open it up, do you read the manual? Do you kind of need to watch a video? Do you just start putting it together? And the second question is, do you have any physical restrictions that we need to know about? So when I get those 2 things, then I will tailor the instruction to what they like, rather than default into the way I like, which would be, okay, let's get hitting balls. You lose people if you don't do it that way.
You find that people will say, no, I have no physical ailments at all. And then 6 shots in, you're like, well, you're not really clearing very well. Well, no, I've got a sore hip.
Absolutely. We get that as many as we get, how far do you hit your 7-iron? Oh, 185.
Yeah.
So they're, we try and work with a lot of people. I mean, we're working with a lot of elderly people. We're working with a lot of retired people, people who maybe haven't been athletic their whole lives and now are picking up this. So it's kind of, sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes it's, okay, let's make sure that we can find the best way for you to do this, and that there isn't a textbook swing.
When you are teaching, do you have a favorite technology to use and a favorite training aid?
Favorite technology is, when I'm teaching now, I'm teaching at an indoor simulator. Got all the data, and I love the data because we work with face and path more than anything. And when someone can see in tenths of a degree that a little tiny change can do this to their path, things that they wouldn't see out on a driving range, they're more inclined to continue on with it. They're more inclined to get excited about it. Training aid, tennis racket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What I've done is, if I put a tennis racket into a person's hand and ask them, imagine you're bouncing balls and just hitting them, they automatically go into an ascending inside-out swing every single time. And then I say, okay, let's put your golf club in your hand now and make the same swing. And they make it. And then put your second hand on it, and they end up with a really nice path. And when you show it to them, they go, oh, that's not at all like before. So it's just a simple thing sometimes. Sometimes it's a hockey stick. Sometimes it's a tennis racket. Sometimes it could be a soccer ball.
I think there would be a few tennis rackets purchased here in the next the next little while. I've never had any luck with tennis players. Maybe showing them with a tennis racket might just help.
I've found that most people will have played something in their life, whether it's hockey, soccer, softball, and that almost all sports have similar movements. If you're moving and hitting a ball or kicking a ball, there's similar ways to do it. If someone's playing hockey, hockey is probably the greatest complement for golf as far as the movement. They're almost identical, except for your hands are separated. So if you can get them to understand that, this is how you've done it this way, so let's just kind of morph that into doing this, it doesn't seem like a completely foreign concept to them anymore. The intimidation part just drifts away.
So talking about hockey, what percentage of your students are left-handed?
50% of golfers in Newfoundland are left-handed.
Hockey hockey just brings that out in us. I think
Yeah,
Canadians, they play golf
there's
left-handed.
nobody, there's nowhere in the world like here. Foursome after foursome of left-handeds on the tee box is a dime a dozen. It's just, it don't blink an eye.
So you're doing a lot of club fitting and repairs on left-handed equipment too, eh?
Doing a
And
lot of
purchase.
stuff, and the left-handed teaching is quite nice because when you're face on, your mirror image.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm left-handed and I teach a lot of righties. And when a lefty does come to me for a lesson, they're like, "Oh, it's so nice to have a left-handed instructor." And I'm thinking to myself, it actually is not as nice because I'd rather be hitting the ball the same direction that you are as
Correct.
opposed
Yeah.
to facing the parking lot and you're facing the driving range. So, but in marketing, who's whatever works, right? So yeah, it's great. I'm left-handed and you're a lefty. Let's get at it.
I've captured a significant amount of business in the province for people getting club fitting that are tall. I'm 6'5". It seems to be everybody that's tall ends up coming to me. We get the short ones also, but every time someone says, "Oh, I'm tall," and they say, "Oh, go see Paul." And for
Yeah,
whatever reason,
6'5" and probably hit it a mile.
I used to. We're getting old now.
Yeah. Well, Paul, it's been really great. I think your expertise has been shared with a lot of people over the years, and they're very lucky to have somebody like you that's passionate about learning, passionate about growing the game, passionate about helping them, passionate about getting their clubs fit. That's such an important aspect, is that, like you and I both know, our clubs aren't coming off the rack at a store and then going into our golf bag. They're getting adjusted somewhat.
Yeah, and if I have any kind of a suggestion for people starting off in this is become an expert or proficient in as many different parts of the industry as possible. People come to me for a lesson and then they get a club fitting. Then they get their repairs done. Or people come to me for a repair and then find out I do lessons and they do this. So I'm creating a niche because it's Canada. It's sometimes hard to do things in the winter if we don't have indoor facilities. Some people may not want to stand on the range all day long teaching. So as many different ways as you can create exposure for yourself, the better it's going to be for you in your teaching industry.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice. Find other revenue streams that complement your lesson plan. And I also even like how you got to work at a golf course. Like sometimes your teaching will lead into opportunities that wouldn't be there without having a good reputation, a good foundation of skills. That's one of the things that I would also say.
Yep, no, it has. It led me into places that I never imagined. I've worked at 3 different golf courses, and all 3 approached me. I haven't applied on a job yet.
And I'm sure when you went from one facility to the other, the past facility were in contact with you saying, whenever you want to come back, we'd have you too, I bet.
Well, that is true. I spent 6 years at my most favorite place in the world, which is Terra Nova Golf Resort in Terra Nova National Park, where I would die and be buried if it was up to me. I've got so many friends there. I left there 20 years ago. I go out there, it still feels like home.
Yeah. So I bet you'll be going back there this summer.
I'm going to be there a lot this year.
Nice. That is so nice. Paul, it's so nice to talk to you and hear your story and kind of congratulate you too on your success and your representation of our organization over the years. We've been very happy to have you as a member of the CGTF, and I'm going to read this again and really appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.